everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari and you are watching my advent calendar countdown, and we have already made it to day 11, and yesterday I told you that today's pattern is going to be one of my most popular patterns, and as you can see, I don't know if you guessed which one it's going to be. I should have asked you to write that in the comments in yesterday's video to guess what the pattern for today is going to be. But it's the Rococo Pullover. And I'm wearing the mohair version. I have the original here next to me. I'll show it to you in a second. So today's pattern is the Rococo Pullover and also the Rococo top that I released. So if you live in somewhere that is a bit more warm, so that you don't need a sweater, you can pick the top as well if you want to do that instead. So use the code Rococo, ROCOCO, for a 24% discount on the Rococo Mohair, the original Rococo Pullover, as well as the Rococo top patterns. And the patterns are available on Ravelry as well as in my Shopify shop on sarinodlund.com. I will write all the links, all the three patterns below this video, as well as the discount code. And as always, the discount is valid until the end of tomorrow, so the whole day today and the whole day tomorrow. The discount ends tomorrow at the end of the day, Helsinki time, so December 12th at midnight Helsinki time. And the Rococo Pullover, I think I released the pattern maybe in 2020, I want to say 20 or 21, and I have the original version here because oops. So it's this one, and Labie and Amy came out with a new yarn at that time, so it was their curry worsted base, and she reached out to me and asked if I wanted to design a new sweater with that, and I felt like totally honored to be asked to design something with Labie and Amy's new yarn, and this is the design that I came up with. So it's knitted top down, it has a lace yoke, it has some wrapped stitches over here and some bubbles. I know not everybody likes bubbles, so you can also leave out the bubbles and knit the stitches or pull the stitches depending on where they are in the pattern instead. So it's very easy to leave those out. And the name Rococo comes from this little part over here. It kind of looks like a seashell to me, and you know, like Rococo furniture and Rococo like frames for paintings and mirrors, they have like all these gilded guarding, slightly asymmetrical guarding, carving and little like seashell patterns. So this reminded me of that, and that's why I called the pattern Rococo. And this is the original version. It has a bit of lace here at the hems, and I love how the pattern flows into the ribbing. So it continues as a twisted rib, and of course it has a tubular bind off for neat edges. So this is the Rococo Pullover, and this is the kind of like matching Rococo Mohair version, and it was knitted to me by my friend Crystal. And I told you with the Poetry Pullover and the Poetry Mohair version, they are kind of like exactly the same, so there really isn't any difference except a different yarn. But with these two there is some difference. So this has a slightly smaller gauge than the original one, so that's kind of like worsted weight, heavy DK weight pattern, whereas this is more like light DK. And this is knitted with Knitting for Olives merino and silk mohair, so both, I think the colorway, if I remember correct, it was called lemon curd or something like that, so it's a beautiful lemony color. Also the neckline is a bit different compared to the original one, so these are not the same. So you have to decide whether you want to do the more lightweight version or the thicker version. Of course, you can always knit a thicker version with mohair as well, but just make sure that you get the gauge for that one. Whereas you can also knit this one with like a more lightweight, light DK weight yarn and not use mohair. So even though the name has the word mohair in it, you don't have to use mohair. And also, if you don't like mohair, have you tried suri, for example? Or you can use something like a thin lace weight cashmere or alpaca instead. But anyway, these are not exactly, the pattern is not exactly the same, so they aren't the same pattern in the same way as the poetry mohair and the original poetry pullover. And this is one of those patterns that I feel like it's kind of more like a piece of art than just a knitted sweater. So I feel like this is something that is very easy to dress up for a party because it's kind of like a piece of jewelry or a statement piece in itself. Of course, if you want to do it in like white or very neutral color, it becomes very classy, as you can see with the gray one. It's very classy. Or if you want to do more of a statement piece, just get something bright. I would love to see this in something like hot pink or bright red. I think it would look amazing like that. Like I said about the bubbles, you can leave them out if you don't like them, and otherwise this is again one of those patterns where I would rate this kind of like intermediate, maybe even adventurous beginner. It has some slightly trickier stitches like the wrap stitch over here, and of course the bubbles, but I don't think there's necessarily anything like too hard in it. Of course there's like a lot of texture going on, but usually when I teach classes for like lace knitting or anything, I usually tell the students to first look at the whole chart to kind of like understand what shapes there are and where the pattern is going, and after that you should only look at one row at a time. So forget about everything else. You don't have to memorize the whole chart, you don't have to remember what is happening. Usually in a pattern, like for example this one, there are just like 2 yarn overs and 2 decreases on each row, and you just keep repeating that pattern repeat until the end of the row. So there are very small amount of things happening per round in a knitting pattern, and if you just like keep working it row by row, then at some point you are at the end of the chart and it's going to look like this. So it's not as hard as we make it out to be. So if you look at the whole thing, it looks very complicated, but when you start looking it row by row, it's not complicated at all. And I'm sure this is something that you can very easily do. It's knitted in the round, so you don't have to work the lace on the wrong side at all. It's very fairly straightforward knitting. So another piece that looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. I talked about this a few videos ago about patterns appearing more intricate than what they actually are, and this is one of those pieces. So it's totally doable, even though it looks, like I said, it looks almost like a piece of wearable art. But anyway, today's knitting patterns are the Rococo Pullover, the Rococo Mohair Pullover, and the matching Rococo top. All the links are below this video. The code is Rococo, and that gives you a 24% discount on all these 3 patterns. The code is valid until tomorrow, and tomorrow I will be back with another design, and we have a little pattern release as well. See you tomorrow. Bye.